Nagbabalik ang schoolmates! Nandito pa rin tayo sa FEU Cavite Campus! I love the energy talaga ng mga taga-FEU, no? At lagi namin nagpapaalala no, sa ating mga manonood na walang tama o maling sagot sa ating mga debate na ginagawa. Ito ay isang platform lamang upang mapakinggan ang iba't ibang perspective ng ating mga kabataan tungkol sa issue ng ating bayan. Kaya bago tayo magsimula, atin munang panoorin ang ground rules ng ating debate. Narito po.
May dalawang teams na maglalaban, ang Team Pro at Team Con, na may tig-tatlong miyembro. Ang team leaders ang unang sasalang sa ating debate. Para sa bawat tanong, may 3 rounds or lives ang bawat isa na may 30 seconds per speaker per round. Kapag sobrang intense at walang gustong magpatalo, we activate the bonus round. 1 minute and 30 seconds yan na free flow discussion. Meaning, bahala na magsagutan ang magkabilang panig. Pero kung halimbawa, hindi na makarebat ang naunang debater, pwede siyang mag-buzz para palitan ng ibang team member. Ito ang twist. Bilang mga host, may kapangyarihan kaming mag-buzz sa gitna ng laban. Kung medyo off, boring, o hindi kami satisfied sa sagot ng sinumang debater, we can buzz you out at papalitan ng ibang team member. Kaya make sure na hindi lang matalino ang sagot nyo. Dapat klaro, direkta, at convincing. Bring your best arguments.
Excited na ba kayo sa ating mainit na debate ngayong araw? Kaya ating simulan ang panimulang argumento mula sa ating mga team leaders. Sa ating unang katanungan, pag-abolish sa pambansang pamilyang Pilipino program o 4Ps, dapat nga ba o hindi dapat? Ang follow-up question ko na gusto kong masagot ng ating mga team leaders ay, ano-ano ang sa tingin ninyong basehan o panuntunan ninyo para ito ay ma-abolish o hindi dapat ma-abolish? Jea.
Unang-una sa lahat, naniniwala ang aming team na kailangan nating i-abolish ang 4Ps dahil una sa lahat, ang tawag pa lang dito is pantawid pamilya. Kumbaga pantawid lamang ito is a short-term solution, kumbaga band-aid lang. So kung tayo, magfo-focus tayo mismo kung saan yung root cause ng problema, mas masusolusyonan natin yung poverty.
Maraming salamat, Jea. I think that's it for your opening statement. Your first statement also, Fiona.
Jaya misunderstands the purpose of 4Ps program, which is actually to invest in long-term human capital development. So that to say is that 4Ps aims to break intergenerational poverty cycle so that our position stands, which is why should we dismantle a program that aims to break that cycle?
Laliman natin yung tanong ha. Again, the follow-up question is, ano ang basis o ano ang panuntunan ninyo kung bakit hindi dapat i-abolish or kung dapat nga bang i-abolish ito? Can we answer that, Jea?
It's actually surprising that you thought that I misunderstand the purpose of 4Ps. You already said na intergenerational poverty yung kailangan solusyon nito. But after how many years, halos 2 dekada nang pinapatupad ang 4Ps, pero bakit marami pa rin nasa laylayan? Marami pa rin naghihirap. So if that's really the purpose, then why hindi siya nag-work efficiently at effectively para sa mga mahihirap na talagang meant to help them?
We have to remember that this policy is where people rely on, and abandoning this program would also mean abandoning the Filipino people. So abolishing the structure and the benefits that where Filipino people rely on, instead of reforming it where we could work on, is to reform the structure and improve transparency, to account for accountability, and to lastly is to
Salamat. Jea.
So you've already said na for the Filipino people. But however, ang mga pinipili sa 4Ps is selected only. And ang isa pa na hindi alam ng lahat is hindi malinaw sa batas under Republic Act 11310 na hindi malinaw doon kung paano talaga pinipili or malabo yung qualifications ng pagpili sa mga beneficiary. So doon pa lang sinasabi mo na kailangan nating merong transparency. Pero yung 4Ps, actually, there's no transparency kasi yung implementation nito, doon sila nagkukulang. That's why our side we believe that we need to abolish it.
This actually proves our point further. We need reforms, and abolishing the system and creating new ones would mean more bureaucracy, higher costs, and overlapping systems. So that means that we have to reform it to account for transparency more, rather than just abolishing it would mean that risking abrupt exits.
Oh, sige, lagyan natin ng second layer yung tanong. Kung hindi i-abolish yung 4Ps, sang-ayon ba kayo dun sa naging statement, or do you have backup research that actually proves that having 4Ps or continuing 4Ps has actually proven to lessen the poverty in our country? Jaya.
So according to my research, according to a study conducted by Sasaki Diaz in Brazil, that even though there's merong existence ng educational support, hindi naman ibig sabihin nun na yung pagtaas ng attendance ng mga bata is equivalent yon sa high quality education. And actually, that's the problem about 4Ps. We're just giving cash, we're just giving financial need. However, nakakalimutan nating solusyonan yung talagang problema, which is it's part of education sector, health sector, and other sectors.
Again, this calls for a reform again, which means that we have to expand educational support, like in Mexico, where there extended educational incentives for older students to even attend college. So that being said, is that we need to reform only and not abolish it entirely, so that we could improve how could we reach Filipino people, and how could we answer to their problems.
Okay, we're entering free flow. You're free to answer each other's arguments. Go.
It's actually a redundant program kasi sinabi mo na nga na dapat sana napunta yung focus ng government natin sa root causes. So kapag hindi natin inabolish ito at reformation lang, actually it has been improved. Since 2008 pa lang, na-release na to, pero 4Ps na 2019, dun lang siya na-institutionalize. So, kumbaga yung reformation parang naging systematic na lang siya, cosmetic something natin na parang maniniwala tayo na mapapabuti pa siya. Well, ilang taon na, bakit hindi pa rin siya patuloy na nagiging progressive? Kasi kung sinasabi mo kanina yung human capital, it's actually like an illusion na masasolve pa yung poverty by just giving cash. It's actually better para ilaan natin yung pondo natin sa mas mga sektor na nangangailangan at mas matututukan yung mga problema. Kay example na lang, yung education. Gaya na sinabi mo, sa Brazil, yung, it's actually, yung context actually, it matters. Kasi sa Brazil, hindi lang naman sila nag-focus sa cash assistance lang. Gumawa rin sila ng paraan para mas mapabuti yung development ng education sector nila.
Abolishing it again would mean that we would risk abrupt exit strategies. And again, in Mexico, the pre-reform Brazil
Pero sa pagpapatuloy ng 4Ps, we are also risking a lot of fun. Actually, we have already, yung pinropose ngayong 2026 is
Okay, maraming salamat. So, Jaya and Fiona, palit muna tayo, no? Bigyan natin ng chance ang inyong mga teammates. Punta tayo sa ano yung stand-off or jump-off point rather ng inyong mga team leaders. Reforms, you're talking about reforms. We want to know how. What is the do different for this new 4Ps program that makes it more efficient and more effective rather than the previous iterations? And on your end, on pro-abolishment, what is that alternative solution? Bigyan natin ng mas malalim na konteksto. From 7 years na tulong mula sa gobyerno under 4Ps program, sang-ayon ba kayo sa panukalang payagan ang mga miyembro na mag-extend at mag-stay sa programa hanggat kailangan nila? And what are the bounds or the limits? Kasi again, sa inyo nang galing, this is supposedly a short-term solution. But on your end, you were supposed to answer or rather address intergenerational poverty. Can you give me or cite more examples on that? Joseph?
Well, first of all, yun yung mismo problema sa 4Ps, which is walang time-bound and time frame para makita natin kung paano ba talaga yung massive success ng programa. Kasi yung nakikita natin is yung mga isolation cases lang eh. Like yung, okay, ito, nagkaroon siya ng anak na nakapag-college, pero those are only isolation cases. Kasi if there is massive movement, nagkakaroon nga ng maganda yung nagiging resulta ng programa, di dapat nababalitaan na natin. At itong 4-piece, matagal na siyang nabuwag, matagal nang walang 4-piece.
Actually, 7 years lang yung pamamaan ng 4-piece sa mga participants. And noon sa 7 years na yun, makakatulong yun sa mga pamilyang nangangailangan as a sort of assistance, pero short-term assistance, which gives them the time and the opportunities to sustain themselves and find job opportunities for themselves.
Pero that is not reality. Marami pa rin mga Pilipino, lalo na sa paghanap ng trabaho, kahit ang mga normal na mamayang Pilipino ay nahihirapan maghanap ng trabaho, paano pa kaya yung mga taong sinasabi mong nasa laylayan? At first of all, yung working class, they are very hardworking. Bakit hindi yung mga working class, kagaya ng mga informal laborers at mga nagtatrabaho, ay hindi rin naman sila nabibigyan ng same support from the government? So is that really equity and sustainable?
Siyempre, mahirapan pa rin sa mga linlangan na makahanap ng trabaho through 4-piece. So, ang naisip namin is actually reform by giving job opportunities actually. And through these job opportunities, makakatulong sa mga nasa linlangan to initiate their own lives. Hindi lang sa paghahanap sa sarili nila, kundi sa pag-extend ng hand ng 4-piece sa kanila.
Pero that would mean na magdadagdag tayo ng pondo sa 4-piece. Kasi we're going to add job opportunities. When in fact, yung 100 billion, namely 100 billion na binubagay natin sa 4-piece, ay napupunta lang sa ganong sistema. Pero kung sa mga sectors, kagaya ng sinabi ng team leader namin, na ilagay ito sa health sector at idagdag ito sa educational sector, mas maraming makikinabang, maraming estudyante makakapag-aral, magiging quality ang education, at moreover, makakapagbigay tayo ng mga job opportunities na lahat ay makikinabang at hindi lamang yung mga selected.
Kumbaga yung pera nito na mapupunta sa mga linlangan, hindi lang po sila para sa mga mahihirap na naghahanap ng assistance for their expenses. Job opportunities nga, pwede makatulong. Pero all in all, yung education at health na mapoprovide ng 4-piece sa mga poor families is actually enough support for the long run. Sabi nga, human capital is a long-term investment na makakapagtulong sa all in all.
Alright, sige. We're already in the free flow discussion, but I want to delve deeper. I want to hear statistics. I want to hear research. What is the proof that it works? And if it doesn't, what is the proven method next if you have data from other countries? Sige.
So for the long term, actually, na-research ko that 90% ng mga 4-piece participants is nakapaghanap po ng sustainable opportunities po
Sige,
nila.
what is your source for that? Saan nanggaling yung data mo?
I've researched it on Google, but it's not really delved further. So, I guess yun, malabo pa yung narating na 90%. But from GMA, nakita ko na si Kate is nakatulong talaga sa kanya yung 4-piece na yun through her education ng
Well,
kanyang bata.
I beg to disagree
health, and
kasi
yung
based on PSA, 15 to 20% remain in poverty line. That shows inconsistency sa sinasabi ng long-term or breaking the cycle of poverty when in fact, decades of implementation and yung poverty line, ay marami pa rin may naghihirap na tao.
Kung baga parang kulang pa sa sa pagbabasa, kulang pa sa paggawa po ulit or pagkalap po ulit ng mga impormasyon sa poverty line po natin. Malay mo na na nakatulong pala yung long-term results po ng 4-piece. Pero kakasabi ko lang na mahirap po malaman natin na may results na agad through those
Kasi we
short
are
years.
looking at isolation cases. See, there is no movement. There is no statistic that shows that the majority actually benefit from the short-term relief.
Alright, maraming salamat. Du, thank you. Joseph, stay. Dale, pasok. I understand that the research may probably have delved into anecdotals of proven successes of the program. So let's try to himay further. Sangayon ba kayo na ang 4-piece ay or ang iilan sa mga nakakaranas ng benepisyo mula sa 4-piece ay merong kumbaga selfish act or pang-aabuso na nangyayari sa mga benepisyaryong ito? And when we talk about reforms, how do we guardrail against those kinds of abuses if there are proven to be any? Joseph.
Well, first of all, yun na nga yung problema sa 4Ps. Kasi ang tawag sa mga beneficiary ay meron silang listahan. So yung mga kapitan, sila yung may kinalaman dyan kung sino yung magiging beneficiaries ng 4Ps. And that's a problem kasi it can be used politically. So nagkakaroon ng patronage system na kung itong isang pamilya na to, binoboto lang to si kapitan, itong mga political leader na to, nagkakaroon ng patronage kasi you will be able to keep your membership. Pero yun yung magiging problem kasi it's not
Okay, Joseph. Dale.
That's actually a myth because politics shouldn't be involved because it is under DSWD. Therefore, politics should be removed from the equation. And since that we are voting for a reform, there should be transparency in order for the files and names of the individuals to be secured.
But I'd like to be remembered you that yung DSWD is a part of government. It's a branch of government. And yung DSWD, they actually, kumukuha sila sa mga government staff, mismo sa mga barangay, kasi merong mga DSWD, barangay, which is yun yung nagiging local government. Yun yung tumutulong para mapadali at para maabot sana itong mga tulong na to. Pero yun yung ginagawa ng government, ng barangay, na they take advantage of that. Kaya nagkakaroon ng patronage system. And that is one of the reasons why we want to abolish this 4Ps.
4Ps is an infrastructure already built. Therefore, all we need to do is to reinforce it, to further reform it, to
It
fix
is
it,
not
rather
infrastructure,
than break
it is a policy. It is a program that benefits Filipinos.
It's not only a program, it's a law. It's a Republic Act with stipulations, provisions.
To institutionalize the 4Ps. But it's not infrastructure. Infrastructure means it is a building or can be used by many people like
So
hard
what you're
substance.
telling me is to cut off the people, the 1.4 million Filipinos, from the benefits. What will you do?
Keep going. This is a
What
free
will
flow.
you do in that scenario? From day one, you cut off that source. What will happen to the 1.4 million Filipinos waiting and reliant on that?
We are not abolishing compassion. We are abolishing a system na hindi naman talaga nasusolusyonan ng isang problema na dekada ng kinakarap ng mga Pilipino. We want, kung i-abolish natin yung purpose, mas ma-refocus natin yung funds natin na 100 billion funds, mind you, sa health, education, at sa mga iba pang sector like job opportunities. Kasi sa purpose, na ano ka lang there is no push to people
Yes,
na
I am
magtrabaho.
aware of that 113 billion to be exact, not just 100 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you also mentioned that it's for health and education. Isn't that the three objectives of 4Ps? Health, education, and nourishment? For
And
the
do you
people
think-
to be
do you
nouri-
think
for the people to
na
be
kapag
nourished,
nakapagtapos yung
for
mga
the people to be
mag-aaral ng mga
educated, to be
4Ps,
literate,
ay
if you're
supposedly,
calling, if you're
efficient
telling
ba?
me that
Efficient
it's
ba
about
yung education natin?
politics, then why don't you educate the Filipinos? Why don't you tell them to vote the right
Well, to be
individuals?
honest, para lang ma-maintain mo yung 4Ps membership mo, you just need to be 80% of attendance sa school. But yung attendance na ngayon, 85%. Pero sa tingin mo ba sapat na yun para matutunan ng isang Pilipino ang mga kailangan nila? Kasi inaano natin we're making the Filipinos na maging ganito yung buhay nila. We are not pushing them for self-sufficiency. Akala ko ba support lang to?
Don't you know that
Bakit
there are
nagiging
research-
dependent na tayo?
Okay, maraming salamat, Dale and Joseph. Palit muna tayo. Thank you so much. Nag-mention kayo ng data. Now, we want to see where is that coming from or what does it measure? So, is it being directly caused by being in 4Ps? For example lang, does it lessen the out-of-school youth in the country? Does it improve literacy rate? Does it improve job retention? Where can we actually measure the efficacy or efficiency of 4Ps? Jaya?
Actually, I've already mentioned kanina yung study ni Brazal, Sasaki, and Diaz kung saan totoo ngang merong educational assistance na pinoprovide itong 4Ps. However, even na tumaas yung attendance rate ng mga students, hindi naman nagkaroon ng sapat na reason para sabihing naging successful yung kanilang pag-aaral. Like for example na lang, ang 4Ps kasi hanggang senior high school lang naman. And knowing our system sa Philippines na i-hire ka lang naman nila kapag meron kang college degree.
Studies from PIDS firstly actually shows that beneficiaries shifted their spending to education and food. Moreover, there is no data that proves there is significant labor drop. Given that, like what you've said earlier, as you've said that is only until senior high school. So that proves our point again that there is a need for a reform. So we should strengthen monitoring and evaluation, and we should
Thank you, Jaya.
I don't think reformation is enough for this one. Kasi kailangan na talaga natin siyang i-abolish kasi nga matagal na taon na siyang pinapatupad. And basically, we can absolutely use that funds para sa mga yun nga, pagpapabuti ng ating mga... Isipin mo, papasok ako ng school tapos yung upuan ko hindi maayos. Magkakaroon ba ng motivation yung students na makapag-aral? Magkakaroon ba sila ng motivation na nag-aaral ako, kailangan kong may matutunan? Kumbaga, nandun nga sila sa school, pero yung isip nila, dun yung worry, nandun yung hindi enough motivation.
I believe there should be a separate fund allocated for the improvement of classrooms. That would be for DepEd. But I believe also that the reformation, we don't have to abolish completely the program because that would mean we would risk abrupt exits. That would mean leaving legitimate beneficiaries for sustaining themselves alone, or leaving the poor Filipino people.
Okay, sige. Fiona and Jaya, bago tayo pumunta sa last lifeline nyo, sagutin natin yung tanong, may pang-aabuso bang nangyayari kung sa mga miyembro or mga nakakakuha ng 4Ps? Ano yun?
I'm glad that this topic was opened dito sa discussion natin. Kasi actually, this is not an attack for the poor people. This is actually an attack sa implementation kasi hindi nagkakaroon ng sapat na evaluation strategy yung DSW and even the local governments. Kung meron mang nang-aabuso, ito yung mga nepotism, kung saan yung mga kakilala lang ng nasa loob ng DSWD or kaya ng barangay yung nakakatanggap. Gaya nga ng nasabi kanina, nagkakaroon ng patronage-based politics. At hindi lang yon, meron ding leakage.
We talked to a DSWD 4Ps beneficiary rather, and she actually brought up that there was indeed abuses, and that is where we need to strengthen regulations and improve transparency by digitizing systems and accounting for monitoring and evaluation. So this is where again we brought up reformation again and again, because abolishing the system and means creating a new program would mean more bureaucracy, higher costs, and
So, you have already mentioned kanina na magkakaroon ng separate fund for the accountability and transparency mechanism. However, hindi pa ba sapat yung dami ng fund, at even World Bank, meron tayong utang sa World Bank na mahigit $300 million just to fund this program. So you're basically saying na magdadagdag lang tayo ng
I
program for the
mentioned that
progress na hindi pa natin naaabot. Gaya
No,
na
I
sinabi ng
mentioned that
team mo kanina na
there
hindi
should be a
nagkakaroon ng
separate
progress
fund
until
allocated
now.
for the improvement of classrooms. I did not mention that there should be a separate fund
So it's good to
allocated
say
for
na
the
it's supposed to be abolished. It's not
transparency.
about transformation or reformation kasi nga
abolishment
magkakaroon
would
lang ng
mean
dagdag na
abandoning
pondo.
the 1.4 Filipino
We are
beneficiaries
not abandoning them. We're
4Ps.
actually including everyone, not just the lower class. It's actually the middle class actually. Sila din yung isa sa mga nagpopondo dyan kasi taxpayer sila. So hindi natin ina-abandon yung mga lower class, especially the middle class as well. So it's an illusion na ginagawa ng upper class para bigyan tayo ng paniniwala na merong struggle between middle and lower. So it's actually a capitalist thinking.
This again is, as we've mentioned, that reformation. So we need to strengthen the regulations and improve
We've been strengthening it
transparency
since
for
2019 by
annual
institutionalizing the Republic
verification
of.
system.
Maraming salamat to Fiona and Jaya. Di sila nagpakabog with each other. Okay, palit muna tayo. Doon tayo sa standoff point, inuulit-ulit natin yung term na reforma. Pero ano ang sinasabi nating reforma? At balikan lang natin, ano ba ang definition or qualification ng isang tao para makatanggap siya ng benepisyo from 4Ps? Maybe that could be something that you can elaborate, guys, on. And ito ang susunod nating tanong. Sa inyong opinion, sa tingin nyo ba na ang programang 4Ps ay isang malaking pasakit o pahirap sa mga middle-income class earners sa bansa, at bakit?
Siyempre makatulong yung 4Ps sa mga poor families or low income families. Pero ano nga ba yung benepisyo niyan sa mga middle class earners? Syempre, galing nga sa kanila yung tax na o yung funds na ginagamit para sa 4Ps. Pero in turn, yung long-term human capital na ininvest natin sa low-income families is makakapagbigay din ng mas mataas na tax or mas mataas na ambag sa gobyerno na tuluyan din naman ma-reprocess sa community.
Okay, Claire?
Ang mga Middle East naman po kasi wala silang kakayahan para makapag-aral po. So we against po kami sa against demolish po sa 4Ps na yon kasi about education, health, beneficiarity din naman po. Pero we abolish naman po ng 4Ps kasi po sa edukasyon.
Okay, sige, ganito. Bigyan natin ng ibang angulo yung tanong. So, na-mention ng inyong mga teammates kanina na food, shelter, education at pang-negosyo all in one package na daw ang 4Ps. Sa tingin nyo ba dapat bawasan yung tulong na ibinibigay or should we just abolish it altogether para makinabang rin naman ang ibang mga kababayan natin?
Based po sa tanong niyo po, yung about po na i-abolish po yung about sa yung para po makinabang po yung ibang students po or yung mga in education. So yes naman po, dapat po makinabang po yung ibang tao or ibang estudyante na naghihirap po. So hindi po pwedeng namimigay lang, kailangan may balik din po, ganun.
Okay, thank you, Claire. Duke?
Directly siguro, hindi makinabang agad yung mga middle class income earners sa 4Ps. Ano ba ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin na for the long-term growth ng gobyerno, yung fino-focus po ng 4Ps. For the long-term growth of the community, not just all of the social community, but syempre yung pagtubo po ng low-income earners na to, in turn makapagbigay po sila or makapag-return po sa kanilang bansa, sa kanilang community yung tulong na in-extend sa kanila.
Again, we'll give you time again to rehuddle and reconstruct your thoughts. Maraming salamat, Claire and Duke. Balik tayo sa tanong ko kanina ha. Food, shelter, education at pang-negosyo, all in one package na daw siya. Sa tingin ba natin dapat bawasan ang tulong na ibinibigay or abolish it altogether para makinabang rin naman ang ibang mga kababayan natin? Dale?
No, because it's a necessity that must be given to the Filipinos. It was previously mentioned that the middle class wouldn't benefit. And what is your definition of a middle class family? At what point is it a middle class and almost to poverty? Because someone making 70,000 per month is making so much more money that what is a little cent of that, a fraction of that, what would it cost them?
Let's redirect the focus to the question. So the question is yung food and shelter ba or yung pagnenegosyo ay sapat na ba doon sa binibigay sa mga 4Ps beneficiaries? Obviously no, kasi nga magkano lang naman yung nakukuha ng mga beneficiaries, depende pa yun sa ilang anak ng miyembro ng pamilya. Pero that doesn't mean na we shouldn't abolish it. Kasi maganda nga, i-abolish natin para mas marami pang makinabang. Kasi we don't understand the weight na kapag naglagay tayo ng mismong job opportunities sa mga pamilya na to, we are not denying them. We are giving opportunities.
Okay, Dale?
So you previously mentioned that we shouldn't abolish the fact that we will give money and supplement to the people. Isn't that the main objective of the 4Ps, to provide education, health, and proper nutrition? Isn't that what we stand for and what you should stand for?
I don't get kung saan mo nakuha yung part na yan. Because I clearly said sa last na sinabi ko na that's why we should abolish 4Ps para mas mabigyan pa ng ibang opportunity yung iba.
Where would you get those funds, actually?
I mean, to the Filipinos, to the taxpayers, doon nakukuha yung pondo ng 4Ps. I don't know why I'm educating you when in fact, you should be studying this. This 4Ps is a program.
That won't benefit the middle class family? Didn't you say that it won't benefit. What's the point? There's no equality because of the middle class family not benefiting from the 4Ps?
Yeah, exactly. The middle class, ewan ko kung saan mo nakuha yung middle class ha. Yes, lower middle class, at hindi naman lahat ng middle class ay walang utang, hindi nahihirapan. We are disregarding the informal laborers, contractual workers. We are denying them kasi sila, hindi rin naman sila napipili. Dahil nga yung purpose, they have a patronage system kung saan yung sino lang ang kilala ni Kapitan, sila lang ang makakaroon ng silistahan. At yung sinabi ng team leader namin kanina na mayroong leakage, which is yung mga miyembro nga.
So if there's a leakage, you just destroy and cut off the water source rather than fix it, rather than provide.
The fact
what
that you
they
need to fix the system shows the system collapses. It fails in the first place. Bakit ba
Okay,
natin
if you
nire-reforma
cut
isang
off
bagay
it,
kung
if you
ito ay
destroy
sira
the
naman na
bridge,
pala?
how will the people cross? What is your solution to that?
Solution? Yes, we have solution. Allocating the funds to educational, job opportunities, health
That's
sector.
basically 4Ps.
No, because it's
What-
only
what's the
meant for the
difference?
beneficiaries of 4Ps. You are not giving beneficiaries to the other people who are also paying taxes.
What about those that cannot defend themselves? Those that are illiterate?
That
What
is
do you call
why
that?
we want to give those people job opportunities. Simply, purpose is not the sole solution. We can make solution. We have other programs, and we can make that. And you know, the
Why
fact
not
that
just
we,
reform it? Why destroy it?
Okay, maraming salamat, Joseph and Dale. Palit muna tayo, Dale. Thank you so much. Fiona, sa dami ng issue o loophole na hinaharap ng programang 4Ps, sa tingin nyo ba napapanahon na ang malawakang amendment ng batas na ito para lumawak at maging pantay ang tulong hanggang sa mga Pilipino middle income class at hindi maging limitado para sa iilan lamang? Oo o hindi? Fiona?
Yes, it is. We should amend. Specifically, we should extend our purpose to middle-income families because there is a shared responsibility with the government and the people, and the fund comes from the taxpayers. So we believe that instead of abolishing it, we could include this in the reforms and to reach more Filipino people and to extend aid to them to help them build self-reliance.
Well, I beg to disagree to that part, but I still agree that many Filipinos should be benefiting from public funds, not just to the program itself, 4Ps.
So, instead of abolishing the 4Ps program, we could use it as a platform where we could redesign and revitalize it to include services
So you
that would
acknowledge
help.
that 4Ps failed to get the mission or objective ng ng 4Ps na sirain yung poverty cycle. Kasi the fact you are requesting a reformation, you're requesting that the system collapses and it fails in the first place.
Every system is flawed, but that would mean abolishing it would mean abandoning the legitimate beneficiaries that are benefiting from it. It has a structure and people rely on it. It has benefits and it is working according to studies from PIDS that shows that no matter how small the grants are, it has meaningful impact for the
See,
beneficiaries.
that is the problem sa 4Ps talaga eh. Kasi you are pushing the people to be reliant, over-dependency sa government. When in fact, hindi lang naman kasi middle class yung nagbabayad eh. Pati yung mga upper class eh. Sabihin na nating barya lang sa kanila yan. Hindi nasasaktan yung bulsa nila dyan. Pero the fact that there are Filipinos who are paying, who are very hardworking. Kasi we make a system na itong mga tao na maging depende lang sila sa sistema. When in fact, kapag inabolish natin to at gumawa tayo ng mga ibang programa na may bibigyan ng job opportunities
This
at suporta.
dependency claim is incorrect. Firstly, 4Ps is conditional. And secondly, again, studies show that there is no significant labor drop among adult beneficiaries. So that being said, it does not create dependency, but it creates self-reliance among people that are benefiting from it. So instead of abolishing the bridge, why don't we just help them build or revamp the exit strategies where we could help them?
That's what the Filipinos have been doing. Yun yung purpose, yun na yung ginagawa niyo for years, pero hindi pa rin talaga nangyayari. Ikaw ba, sa tingin mo, paano ba natin magagawa ng paraan yung mga loopholes or yung mga leakage na yung mga DSWD, paano natin pipiliin mismo yung mga 4Ps beneficiaries?
Again, this is where we call for specific amendments, where we strengthen the regulations, where we
How will we strengthen it when the system is corrupt itself?
corruption is very deep-rooted and it can't be fixed overnight. What we can do is to reduce corruption by building transparency through digitized systems and annual verification systems where we could update our poverty database and ensure that those beneficiaries are actually the poor people
A
or
reformation is called for more funds. Do you think the government can able to support adding more funds? And moreover, how can we actually evaluate the economic development or yung magiging job opportunities?
Or again, maraming salamat sa ating mga debaters. Papakinggan natin ang say ng audience sa naging mainit na debate ngayong araw at kung sino ang ating magiging best speaker for today's episode. At lahat ng yan ay sa pagbabalik lamang ng Schoolmates.